If he could, would Tulsa Mayor G.T. Bynum just skip over the month of May on the calendar? May 2019 brought historic flooding to northeast Oklahoma. May 2020, an historic pandemic. This week, the first-term mayor reflected on both in this O&R Extra.
It was really an extraordinary period of time because earlier in the week we had been hit by an earthquake in Tulsa, and then the night before the flooding really started in earnest, we were hit by a tornado. And that's when I was called back to our emergency operations center and told that the Corps of Engineers was going to have to increase their releases from Keystone Dam. And from that point on, I mean, it went on for a little over 2.5 weeks. We would bring in outside experts, and they would have 18 hours to put a map together based on the release rate from Keystone Dam that would show what the inundation should be. And by the time we got that map done, the Corps would announce that they were actually going to increase it, and our map would be obsolete and useless. I'll tell you, every day during this pandemic, I've been monitoring the level of that river. Everybody that was managing that response in this region was stuffed in a little bunker room in the basement of our municipal courthouse throughout the event, handling it. And that is something that we could never do during this pandemic event. We had no one on our team at the city who had dealt with a viral pandemic before, in trying to absorb all that information and use it to make quick decisions. And the first couple of weeks of that response very much reminded me of the response to the flood a year ago and the lessons learned from that. If you told me 6 months ago that we would be in a world where we had to close down every restaurant and entertainment venue in town, and that all across the country people would have to stay in their homes, and that schools would be closed, that we would close City Hall for 2 months, I would have said that was some sort of dystopian science fiction novel that couldn't possibly happen. And now we've just gone through really the first global pandemic to hit our city in over 100 years, and certainly the first modern one. If you look at deaths per 100,000 versus, in the Tulsa metro or the Oklahoma City metro, and you compare that to some of the cities that you're hearing about on the coastal United States or in Europe or Asia, it's a fraction of those other cities. And it's because we were able to take action early on.